We here. I'm reading this new shit. Transitioning to the new system. Spending thousands, okay. When the new system releases, we'll be automatically awarding existing players an appropriate number of prestige levels based on how many perk tiers they've unlocked. If you've left all your characters at level 50 and focused on unlocking perks, your work won't be for nothing. So that's where I was, right? That's me. Now they're talking to me because that's what I did. Because I was not a prestige person. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to use a cosmetic anyway, right? Because I don't like most of the bloody clothes. Like that shit. It didn't really look great. There's no reason to prestige. So I mostly just left all my shit at 50 and got all the perks on everybody. So this is where the boat I'm in right now. That's same with you, right, Jess?
Yeah, I've gotten all of the perks on like 13 characters.
Right. So now they're talking to us right here. But what they didn't tell us is how that conversion rate is going to work. At least they haven't yet. It's also important that you don't lose anything when the system is updated. You will keep any perks and bloody prestige cosmetics you've already unlocked. Those who reach Prestige 3 before the update will receive a special prestige icon to recognize their achievements and commemorate the perks and add-ons they lost in the process. Okay, cool. So they'll be hosting a live stream soon to show the updated system in action and answer any questions. So hopefully they'll answer the question of like, what if I have every rank 3 perk in the game? Where's that going to put me prestige level wise when the reset happens? That's what I kind of want to know. Because like right now I'm kind of in the boat of like, if I have like 3 or 4 pages of purple perks, it might not be worth it to pre-prestige those characters unless it's one that I really care about. I don't really know where my threshold is. Like I want to know like how much prestige level I'm going to get for however many perks I have right now. What do you have any guesses of what that's going to be?
I think it'll just be 1-1. Like I think like any points you've spent past 50 unlocking perks will go straight into unlocking a blood web, and they'll count it like the average blood web for each level.
It's possible.
So like first level blood web is what on average probably like 8k blood points. Second is like 9, 10, 11, whatever. They have that data. So it'd be nice if they made that transparent, given how much transparency they have in this whole post.
Yeah, so we'll see what they do with that, because I'm still not entirely sure of when, like, getting everyone to Prestige 3 now is something that you want to do. Every killer and survivor, right? Because that way it reduces the grind on everyone else, especially future characters, to almost nothing, which is good.
That when we get to the graph, you give Jess and I at least a minute to roast the UX of the graph. It's not great.
So
it is a horrible graph.
Like,
I'm not even going to look at the graph.
What decisions they were making. They make such a beautiful post and then just shit the bed on the graph.
So I am, but you're going to want everyone Prestige 3'd. I just don't know if I think most of my prestiging is going to be done after the fact, after the reset. I think I still maybe will do a couple before, especially since I have time and we got a double blood point event coming up on top of the event anniversary. So I think I'm going to do a couple, but I think most are going to be done afterwards, especially survivors. Okay, generator speeds. This is what I'm interested in. When looking at perks most used by killers, there's a very clear trend. Any perk that helps prevent generators from being powered. Yes, exactly. At any sort of decent MMR, you were fucking just forced into running at least 3 slowdown perks to have any sort of chance. Corrupt, Pop, Scourge Hooks, and Ruin are a few are notable. Really, I don't really see Ruin being ran too much anymore. I feel like that one's sort of a, I don't know. They may be taking their data from a long time ago.
Don't you worry, the graph has got you.
Oh, does it? Okay, nice. Many players feel like generators are powered too quickly. Yes, you are correct. Without these perks, they're powered too quickly with these perks. So we knew we needed to look at generators before making any perk changes. That's what I like to hear. Slowdown perks should be an option, but not the only option to stay competitive. Well, they are. We've increased the time it takes to power a generator to 90 seconds, up from 80. I mean, that's cool. Is that enough? Maybe.
I mean, I feel like it should have went to 100, but that's just
So we're adding. So you got to do 5 gens. That's 10 seconds. So not even an extra minute on gens for the whole game.
I would like to think that they tested that. Like, I would like to think that they've internally tested like 85, 90, 95, 100 at least. But who knows? Maybe they just throw darts.
Maybe. I mean, again, it's not even a full. It's not a full minute. We haven't added a full minute, but that's okay. It's something. It's something.
Also, the PTB, you never know. Maybe one PTB,
right?
Like if the feedback is like this should be 100, maybe they'll switch it. You never know.
Yeah, maybe.
But you know, because they also have to think about new players, and they can't put it into a position where new players just literally never escape a game, which is why this game is hard, because you're balancing for a wide range of skill levels as well. Slowing them down slightly, we hope to give killers a bigger window to interrupt survivors, particularly at the beginning of a trial. Kicking a generator will now instantly remove 2.5% of the maximum progress. I like that. That's good. This change makes kicking gens more meaningful. They should decide if they tap it. Yeah, okay, that's cool. That's a good change. I like that change. Are those enough to make you not have to run all slowdown perks? It's hard to say. I guess we'll see. General killer improvements. The average kill rates, how many survivors are killed each trial, are a little lower than we'd like. Okay, a sentiment echoed by the many community members. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, killer is not in a great place right now. It's like, I think in the last few months, 6 months, maybe a year, it's been kind of, when did boons come out? I bet the kill rates dropped off significantly in like direct relation to when boons came out. Is that on the graph?
I don't know if that's on the graph, but it probably is.
I guarantee it did. To ensure the killer feels like an unstoppable force to be an
unstoppable force. Whoever wrote this prose should...
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't. Well, anyway, making slight improvements to many aspects of killer gameplay. Reduce the time it takes to break walls and pallets by 10%. Whatever. Generators can also be kicked 10% faster, so that's nice. So you get the 2.5% regression and a 10% faster kick on it. So, it's probably worth kicking gens now. I say probably. It's situational still. While these changes may seem small, a fraction of a second can be a difference between hitting a survivor and them reaching a pallet. That's true. I mean, yeah, you're right. Next, we've reduced the cooldown for successful basic attacks by 10%. Now, this is where it starts getting a little interesting to me. Because, that's good. Now 2.7 seconds, previously 3. I need to see this in action in certain situations. In certain situations, that could be really, really strong. And reduce the duration of the survivor's speed boost upon being hit by 10%. 1.8 seconds was 2 seconds. Okay, yeah, that's also good. Moving forward, survivors will gain slightly less distance upon being hit. I don't think it's enough to make a huge difference, but that's good that they at least know that that's a problem. We've tweaked Bloodlust to increase power. I think I read this. Okay. We're adjusting Bloodlust tiers active after 15, 25, 30 seconds. So they're not changing Bloodlust 1. So changing Bloodlust 2 and 3 basically is just changing it for people who are no offense, just not good at the game. If you're getting into Bloodlust 2 and 3, you're kind of fucking up. You are I can't remember the last time I've ever seen Bloodlust 2 or 3. So that's not going to really affect most players. Sure, Bloodlust will become even more uncommon outside of exceptional circumstances. Great. Camping and tunneling. This is my favorite part. This is where I am interested into what's going to happen here. On the survivor side, there's a clear preference for perks that grant a second chance, borrow time, D-strike, dead hard, and perks of that nature to help a survivor avoid certain death. Benefit of these second chance perks is how they help prevent unfun situations, namely being camped or tunneled out of the game. Sure. In order to incentivize a meaningful change in the meta, it was clear we needed to address those controversial tactics. Second chance perks should be nice to have, not essential to ensuring enjoyable gameplay. Moving forward, survivors will receive a 5-second endurance after being unhooked. This gives the survivor an opportunity to reach a nearby window or pallet for another survivor to position themselves for a protection hit. Yeah, they sure did. So they put BT base kit, and you also get a 7% haste effect during that. This will make them harder to catch and encourage killers to shift focus to the unhooking survivor. But the unhooking survivor, I think, may now have had way too much focus shifted onto them. Because at this point, like from what I've seen with the changes to BT, which I read, and a couple other perks, not to mention, you don't even have to question now as a killer, which you usually didn't have to question anyway, whether or not the survivor had BT, right? You pretty much assume that they did, but now you know they do. So the person who's going to unhook now is basically your target. And what are they gonna do so what's the like the common play against a face camper? Like what can you do right now against a face camper?
So you bait the hit.
You unhook. You dead hard, and the person you unhooked takes a BT hit, right? That's the common play against the face camper. But now you can't do that. So now, like, I don't even know if you're going to have time to hit the new dead hard with the reduced time between a successful swing. So now it may just be like people aren't going to be saving you. People are just going to say, fuck this guy on the hook. I'm going to get killed for going in. You can't go in when you're injured, because like they're not going to even question hitting the guy off the hook. They're just going to hit you. I think that a lot of the attention being moved to the person going to unhook is making unhooking almost a little too, like, if it's not somebody who I'm like pretty good friends with, I might be leaving their ass on the hook at this point.
If they're getting camped, it definitely at least reads that as prohibitive now.
Like, I mean, yeah, this really helps the person coming off the hook, right? The person coming off the hook and now is just they're just gods. They're untouchable for at least 5 seconds, maybe more with borrowed time. But what about the person who's going in for the unhook? What happens to them? I see that as a fairly large problem. I don't know. I think it's going to be very hard. Like, if you face camp somebody now, I don't know how somebody else saves them. You got to get them off the hook now. So like, yeah, when they get off the hook, they're harder to kill. But how do you get them off the hook?
We'll just throw Jess in as a sacrificial lamb.
Like, I legitimately
you have to trade, or
but the trade is almost a guaranteed trade now, because you can't dead hard through, and their cooldown on a successful hit is reduced. So like, used to be you had to mash that dead hard, and you had to get it on the frame of you taking them off the hook and then being out of recovery frames to dead hard. And a lot of times I would miss that because it's such a tight window. You had to get hit at the right spot. Now with them having more time, no, it won't be way easier, because they have a shorter cooldown on their successful first hit.
Yeah, like
you may not even be able to hit they'll hit you again before you're even out of the recovery frames of putting the person on the ground. Because again, it was like it was on the dot to be able to get that dead hard.
What I mean is, I often, when I try that, I would like, it would be my direction of dead hard that would fuck me up. Like, I would dead hard into the hook or into the other person's body, and that won't happen anymore.
But plus, with the new dead hard, you can just wait 1 second and then hit the person that unhooked them. Like, it's literally 1 second. The person unhooking is now in more danger by far than the person getting unhooked.
Was that intended? Like, do they want you to have to be more strategic? But they said that this is to combat camping, and
but this has made camping more of a reward. Now you're basically camping two people because it's the person going to unhook is in danger.
Yeah, but like
way more danger.
Think of like the biggest motivation of this entire patch is to change the perk meta and basically make it so it's not the same like 10 perks always. So there's like 80 other perks in the game, some of which I'm sure will help this that I haven't like looked at. Like, I feel like there's probably going to be like a good perk build for the unhooker. I just don't know what it is.
Well,
like,
now,
I can't remember all 80 other perks.
What they could have done, and I'll get to it in a second. So we've got this, right? Okay, blah, blah, blah. The 7% haste effect. That's irrelevant. It's the protection. It's the endurance effect that matters. The 7% haste is most likely irrelevant. I can see certain situations where it might make a difference. Whatever. Conspicuous actions. Okay, we all know what those are. It's exactly what disables your D strike. With these changes, we hope survivors can switch up their perk loadouts without fear of camping and tunneling will cut their next match short. Maybe.